Altcoins are on the move. We have been waiting for this for quite some time, and we aren't even at the preface of an alt season, considering the fact that Ethereum still hasn't crossed all-time highs. So in this video, I'm going to go over some of the tokens that are absolutely ripping in this current market, why this could be, some key dates to look into just in case the rate cuts on the way are potentially priced into the market. And then on top of that, I'm going to go over a few altcoins I think will definitely catch up to some that are currently pumping. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And before we get started, guys, be sure if you're enjoying the content on the channel, or if you have taken some of our recent plays and are in the green, be sure to drop down below, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more every single week here on In the Game. We have you covered 4 to 5 times a week on all the information you need to win in this crypto bull market. And of course, a big shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game. We have some of the best sponsors in the industry, from Blowfin, 𝗕𝗏𝗏W, and Nexus. If you are not already utilizing Nexus, the product we use here on streams every single day, be sure to drop down below and hit the link. You can get involved for free. You can get involved also on a couple of different membership tiers and get high-level portfolio tracking, track the entire markets, and on top of that, you get exclusive alpha straight from me through the alpha tab here in the app. So check out Nexus Labs down below in the description. Now let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys, as we are seeing a little bit of a surge in the market, and in particular, finally some altcoins seeming to outpace what we're seeing from even Ethereum and Bitcoin, which is a phenomenal thing to see. Whenever we look across the board, we see AVAX leading the charge, Ronin, we see Playable Games up here, up 8%. Star Atlas's Polis token is doing very well. And if we look at the weekly charts, of course, some of the big winners like Hyperliquid, Wilder World, etc. So there are a lot of big wins across the board in crypto right now, but I truly do think there's more upside opportunity to present itself in this current climate, but we do have to tread with a little bit of caution. And the reason I am saying that, obviously there was a miss on PPI, so the 3 rate cuts that were potentially projected to finish out the year, I think are definitely lining up. And we see President Trump saying he's advocating for 50, 75, or maybe 100 BPS rate cuts. So that would be massive in theory for the market. And at the same time, we're also seeing gold breaking into different territories here at 3,600. And when gold leads, Bitcoin usually erupts after. The fireworks for Bitcoin are still ahead, as this is only the buildup. And I do completely agree. I think that this gold run that we're seeing right now is going to trickle back into the digital gold, which is Bitcoin. And right now, our thesis has been correct of, I don't think this was the time to be bearish on September. The stakes have changed, right? History is history. And yes, you could have been bearish and thought that, we were going to go down throughout the month of September, and then we have an Uptober. But this cycle is not the same as previous cycles. With the amount of institutional money, whale money coming through the door, companies buying up Bitcoin, countries buying up Bitcoin, it's just completely not the same ball game, as we're also seeing even strategic reserves on altcoins with Ethereum, with SharpLink Gaming. And we're also seeing the strategic Solana reserve, which is holding $2 billion worth of SOL. And I love this here, as we have seen a lot of bearish takes across YouTube and the timeline. As Ansem says, can one of you fellas who are bulled up do some thesis posting here? I am not convinced, aka he's not convinced on the bull thesis right now in the markets. And Wiz of Soho says monetary policy shifts from restrictive to easing, aka rate cuts, to focus on the second part of the dual mandate, max employment, stagflation fully priced out, and inflation back on trend lower. And I do agree. I think there's so much more to be bullish about in this market than to be bearish. However, the one warning sign that I do see in this current market, and as crazy as it could sound, is at least tread with some caution on the next FOMC meeting, because if they do cut rates, that could be priced into the market. If we do continue to see the market rally into that very first rate cut, you could probably see a potential dip in the market if this is priced in. That is completely on the table. So if altcoins continue to run over the course of this next week to a point where you can maybe even swing trade some of these things and take some profits. And by the way, if you guys took that hyper liquid long that we've been holding for almost a month at this point, it is absolutely printing up 224% here. And you can also do these trades natively on Nexus, as we mentioned at the beginning of this video. But I do think the one warning sign would potentially be that rate cuts are priced in on this first one. Over the course of the next couple of months, once rate cuts are in effect, I think that's going to be very bullish for the market. So if you have open trades heading into FOMC, for me, I'll be taking a little bit of profit off those positions at that point in time. But let's go over some of the winners in the market right now. Number one, Solana. I mean, Solana's ripping at this point in time and is showing no signs of slowing down. And if we look here at their all chart, if we can get this to load, previous cycle around that 250 level looks pretty good here, in my opinion. I think that this definitely breaks through all-time highs in the coming months very easily, and I think Solana continues to be one of those portfolio anchors. If you're holding Solana, you're in a very good position. Number two, obviously, as we just showed you, Hyperliquid. First of all, the trade that we put in here is absolutely ripping. That has been a big winner for us. And also spot buys at $27 are just killer. So if you took that Hyperliquid trade, congratulations at this point in time. And of course, take profits as you please. For me, I'm letting it run because I believe hype potentially climbs higher from here. But we do see here, and some of my logic, that NASDAQ income in 2024 was $1.1 billion. And as we see here, hype net income at current rate is $1.3 billion. They're literally outpacing potentially what NASDAQ did last year. They have flipped the NASDAQ in profitability. Not bad for a 2-year-old exchange with a team of 11. So I do continue to see more and more upside, and the Hyperliquid flywheel with the buybacks, they're the leader of that narrative. So people who come into the buyback narrative, they're looking at Hyperliquid as the industry leader. So very bullish there. I'm looking for catch-ups on a couple of coins as well, and we're going to get into that here in just a second. And the third big winner from the stack that we have been holding here is Avalanche. Finally, we're seeing Avalanche break through that $25 level and actually maintain it. We look at this monthly chart, really this yearly chart, and I'll just pull up this tweet from 𝗪𝗀𝗻 because this, shows a really good, analysis that AVAX just broke out of a 213-day consolidation. It literally ranged for 200 days. That's like 6 months, 8 months of the year at this point in time. Nothing but air now until $50. On-chain revenues about to explode, aka money is now looking to get into things that are revenue generating, whether they're doing buybacks or just profitable in nature. And you know what that means. People are going to start flocking into tokens like AVAX, who have had tons of development over the course of this year. So accumulators and conviction holders getting a tease of the upside on AVAX that is long overdue. So that long-term consolidation here, just look at that, the sideways price action. So this has been awesome to see today, and especially if we cross that $30 level and maintain that, that is super bullish heading into whenever we do potentially get these rate cuts. So those accumulations between $19 and $23 have really paid off, but on top of that, if you're in a long position here on AVAX, that is a big win at this point in time. And then last but not least, we have Pengu sitting at 3.5 cents. We were buying this one under 3 cents, so I do think this is going to springboard from here. Pengu domination round 2 is about to begin. As predicted, 0.027 was the perfect long entry, and that is ironically where we were buying on the show. Now Pengu just broke out of the bull flag. No one is ready for how high Pengu is going. Raise your targets, and I do completely agree. I think the thesis of trading into the abstract TGE by holding Pengu is going to be a no-brainer win, and I do think this easily surpasses all-time high, puts it in price discovery, and who knows where the culture coin / mascot of the 2025 bull run is going to go. So we will definitely be playing those positions. But more importantly, I know you guys are here to take a look at what hasn't run yet. So I'm going to go over that here in just a second. And by the way, Monday's video really hits home with this tweet that I saw from Miles as he kind of put together a stack here: Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, ENA, Mantle, Pump, and Hype. So not a bad core portfolio for Q4. And we did tell you guys on Monday, less is more. So like when I'm looking at the market right now, we're positioned in some of the biggest winners right now. But also we have positions in coins that I think are going to play catch up in this current climate. So for me, I'm looking at 𝗬𝗎 still under $3.60. I think this is way undervalued. I think this easily hits $10 this cycle. So 𝗬𝗎 is an absolute no-brainer DCA to do a catch-up trade. We see stuff like Hype up 19%, AVAX up 13%, Dogecoin up 10%, but you know, 𝗬𝗎 is only up 5% on the weekly. So I think that's a pretty good option for a catch-up trade. Another one is ENA. I definitely think Athena crosses $1 in the coming months very easily. I think that this is also a no-brainer trade. And on this dip, I'm actually thinking about opening up a long position. So that is something I am looking at. And if you want to know whenever I actually immediately open those trades, I would check out Nexus or jump into TTOO, our NFT collection, Discord, huge community, 2,000 people over there. So you can check out either one of those to get real time whenever I do enter these things. But as ENA did take a dip today from 81 cents to 78 cents, that's opening up potentially for a long position for me. So that's something I'm looking at. We see 𝗵𝗏𝗔𝗗𝗘, the largest AI coin by market cap. There's no, I mean, I guess near protocols, literally 100,000 more at this point, 3.35 billion and 3.352 billion. So, you know, take it for what it is. But to me, the industry leader in AI, only up 4% on the weekly. That's a no-brainer as well. And then I think 𝗪𝗂, but I think 𝗪𝗂's a late cycle trade. I think once Bitcoin really starts thriving once more and kind of hits those new all-time highs, that's the time to look at 𝗪𝗂, as 𝗪𝗂 kind of replicates itself on a lot of the Bitcoin core principles and tokenomics. And then just looking down here, I mean, 𝗬𝗑 has been performing very well this week. Those buys at 70 cents are really paying off. So I'm just holding strong on 𝗬𝗑, but I do think 𝗬𝗑 goes $1.50, $1.60 like it did like a month ago. So to me, it's still a buy at $1, and I would be actively accumulating if I don't have a position there. As far as gaming coins, right now, things are pretty slow. Looking at stuff like Ronin finally catching up, but a lot of our individual game trades have really played out well. We see Wilder World up 23% on the weekly. We see stuff like Zentry up 50% this month after their Binance Alpha listing, which was very, very bullish for their ecosystem. On top of that, we see Altura, which is up 500%. They went through like a team change. So anyone who held on to that or bought those lows, big congratulations. I actually didn't buy those lows, but I know a lot of people in the comment section have been asking for my thoughts about that. And I'm just happy that they were able to get over the thing that they were going through as a team. And then as a low cap, I'm still really, really heavy on 𝗪𝗡𝗏. I think 𝗪𝗡𝗏's a great opportunity, still in the red over the weekly and the 30 days, but a lot of these low market caps are still in the red. Like Carrot, Crown, GPU, 𝗪𝗡𝗏, for example. Money hasn't gotten down here yet. So as your high caps start, you know, doing numbers as we're seeing right now, you could move some money down into lower market cap tokens and be able to capitalize as capital continues to rotate. But that's it for me. I'm really focused in on those top positions. About half of our positions in our anchor of our portfolio, that 70-80% of major coins, has really started to move this week. So we've seen big wins from Pengu, Hype, stuff like Avalanche, for example, 𝗬𝗑𝗏, all on the move. And now I'm looking for that other half to catch up. 𝗬𝗎, 𝗏, 𝗪𝗧𝗏, etc. I think those are absolute easy catch-up trades, especially as capital continues to rotate throughout these major altcoins. So that's what I'm looking at in the short term. And in the long term, guys, there's so much to look forward to. A lot of different narratives will be trading throughout the cycle. So that is something we will keep you updated with here on the channel. And last but not least, if you guys remember during the meme coin super cycle this last year, we were all over Meteora. We have a Meteora tutorial here. A lot of people gave great feedback on that, said they made a lot of money on different LPs during that time period. We also did an LP on Trump coin, which did extremely well. Our community over at TTOO was able to do these alongside us as well. So if you used Meteora, you should be in line for a pretty good airdrop stimulus coming here in October. So if you haven't already, jump over to the Meteora website and check out your points and see if you qualified for season 1. If you were participating in Meteora during the meme coin season, you should definitely have a free airdrop waiting for you this October. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Short, sweet, to the point, what I'm looking at in the market. Half of our coins are basically doing their thing at this point in time, beginning to move to the upside. And now I think the other few that are lagging behind, it's time to potentially have a catch-up trade on a few of those tokens. So I will see you guys on the next video. As always, like the video, subscribe down below, leave your thoughts on the current market, and I'll see you on the next one. As always, play well, my friends, trade responsibly, and stay bullish, my friends.